that's what's up. Like I said, it took me a little minute to get on here. I'm like, damn, I know everybody like, damn, they normally started early. Where they at tonight? But
hey, it's Saturday. It's Saturday, man. Gotta chill for a minute.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've been hyping it up though. People coming in, they coming in. Gotta talk about old Joe. Everybody's favorite president. Joe Biden. Joe Biden's something else. He is something else.
Creepy Joe, Creepy Joe.
Mr. Magoo. That's who he is. Mr. Magoo. But how's everybody feeling tonight?
All good, Todd. I'm about to run in the crib, turn the studio on. You know what it is. I'll be right back.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Go ahead. Like I said, everybody they'll be coming in a second here. So it's Saturday. Everybody's coming in. They got their thing they doing. So hey, I ain't mad at you.
Hey, everybody coming into the space. Hey, share the live with your friends. Contact your friends, family members. Hit that text message. Hit them socials up. You know, direct them right back here to this Twitter space. Let them know we talking about Joe Biden. Is he any good for black people, and what has he or hasn't done for black people since he's been in office? So, you know, try to share this with everybody. We letting everybody come up tonight. Matter of fact, if anybody got something to talk about, aside from that, you want to promote your business, you want to promote maybe your mixtape coming out. You know, I'm a musician. Hit up Kite Productions, Kithe Productions, all one word.com. You know what I mean? Hit up that Newstoter.com. Let's go.
Absolutely. And I see we got some of our usuals in here. Quad, Doc, and Lovely. So I expect a nice, healthy conversation tonight. Nothing too serious, because everybody pretty much know what Joe Biden and the Democrats stand at, especially Joe Biden. Joe a little bit nervous with the midterms coming up here, 2022, and then 2024. They're already saying a lot of his own party don't want him to run. What they gonna do? Put Kamala Harris up there? She got absolutely zero chance of winning. So it's gonna be pretty funny to see how this thing plays out tonight.
Hey, pretty much. Kamala definitely got zero chance to win anything with anybody. She already said was no. She ain't giving anything to black Americans. How you doing? What's up? Everything's good. She said she ain't giving nothing to black people. So it is what it is, man. You know what I mean?
On a sad note, man, the thing at Buffalo that happened today, did you hear about the mass shooting that happened up there in Buffalo?
Hey, when you called me earlier, I had just woke up. I went to sleep like 7 this morning trying to do that video for Tamara Shirley. You know what I mean? I was still working on it. It still kept cutting off. So I'm just now getting up. But yeah, what happened? Talk about that.
Yeah, man, you had a white cat ran up in store up there in Buffalo and ended up killing something like 8 people. Matter of fact, like one of my followers, like she had a Twitter space, and I saw that I had some mail in that she had started a Twitter space speaking about the shooting in Buffalo, and I was like, I had to jump in the Twitter space, you know, and see what was going on, because I didn't even know about it. I found out about it a little bit later on, ended up posting an article on Newstoter. So yeah, man, it was another crazy mass shooting. Another angry white man came in there doing what angry white men doing, blaming black people for his race not procreating and all kind of nonsense, and decided to do like a lot of these cowards, take it out on women and whatnot. So yeah, you know how it is.
That's sad, man. Real talk. You know what I mean? That jokers got to be coward-ass incels instead of handling their own business on their own personal accord and just going to get who your enemy is. But half the time, that person ain't even your enemy. You just got a personal gripe because what they did didn't do right for you. That's how beef works sometimes. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. They also had they took old boy ass alive. Like,
oh damn.
Yeah, they gonna take this ass, so they done took him alive. Just like they did the fool Dylan Roof down there in South Carolina. Not only did they take Dylan alive, they went ahead and they let Dylan go. They took him to damn Burger King to get something to eat after he done went in there and murdered old men and old women in the damn church praying.
So, hey, well, you know, them people he murdered was black folk, so you already know. You know what I'm saying? So that at the end of the day, that's a plus for these motherfucking white supremacists, man. You already know.
Oh yeah, man. That's another notch in the belt, man. People were saying that your boy Tucker Carlson on Fox News, that he was one of the main people. He comes with this white replacement talk and stuff like that, and I guess they want to like say that he was one of the type of people that spurred this kind of stuff on. But the thing is that even though Tucker might be a redneck, he's just part of the course. I mean, one white man is not responsible for white supremacy in this world. I mean, he's playing his part, but he ain't responsible. So, you know, this was just nonsense. This was just complete nonsense. But we just warming things up for everybody, y'all. We're gonna get ready to start shortly right here. I see a few more people coming into the space. That space the other night, man, we had a great space going on. We had Tamara and we had Marcel in there. And Tamara, she really held it down till Marcel came in. Marcel did what he did. Marcel, I mean, he was like a one-man wrecking crew. Like once she held it down, he came in there, and you could tell that dude could like talk for hours there. He was like, I wish both of them the best of luck, and it would be like greatest thing in the world if they could go ahead and they could pull off monumental upsets and start to kind of like bring in a new era, bring in some new blood into the I'm not a Democrat. I'm more of an independent. I voted Democrat most of my life, but I see the repeated mistakes that we keep making by putting these people in place. I see, and that's another thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden been damn anti-black his whole damn life, his whole political career. And Joe Biden the type of white man that he ain't ashamed to let you know. He will kind of, backtrack a little bit, but Joe Biden kind of tell you like, hey, I've done more for you than anybody else, and this and that, and it's just ridiculous. Like, this man had no business ever being the president of the United States. They brought him in there with Barack Obama to be the vice president so he could appeal to the moderate white racists in the country, especially up there in the Midwest, in that area, in the so-called blue-collar factory era, because, every white man is blue-collar and brings his lunchbox to work, and he has that superior work ethic and all that other garbage. So Joe Biden embodies that crap. You'll hear him talking about how he grew up middle class. That's how he tried to make the distinction between him and Donald Trump. And the only distinction is that Donald Trump grew up with more money than you. But there is no distinction. You and y'all cut from the same cloth. Y'all go to the same damn country clubs. Y'all hang out with each other at Thanksgiving and the holidays. There's no damn difference between you and damn Donald Trump. Donald Trump was just more of an idiot, and he would just say it out loud. But even this fool here, like he said some stuff the other day. He was talking about the old segregationists. I got the article from Newstoter, but I'm gonna go ahead and anybody that wants to talk first, I'll go ahead and let y'all get it in, talk. I see that we got Copeland, we got Patricia, we got Dark and Love, we got Clark, we got Ray Smith. We got people coming in, so I'm gonna go ahead and I ain't gonna hog the mic early. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get it in, do what you do. If anybody wants to talk right now, they can go ahead and raise their hand. If not, we can continue with some dialogue. And
Hey, Toto, real quick. Hey, everybody, again, is just coming in. If you want to come up on the mic, you could go ahead and request. We accepted anybody that want to talk. The conversation is in the headline. I'll post some stuff in a minute. I'm just getting to the studio. But everybody, take a moment, 60 seconds, man. Invite some of your people in your contacts. Share this across your social media spaces, because we see Joe Biden is doing for everybody else except for black people in America. And we also see that he ain't doing nothing for black immigrants, because he just stopped some black Haitian brothers at the Puerto Rican border. So he don't care about nobody black. So share this with your people, share this with your granny, people that still supporting Obama, all these type individuals. We need to get them on a different mindset right now.
Now, one thing about the grannies now, they're gonna be big old Obama and Joe Biden supporters. Yeah, I mean, let's be for real. Now, I got them in my family too. I got aunts, and I ain't gonna say how closely blood related we are to some of them, but I was having a conversation with somebody in my family, and I was telling them, like, well, I'm gonna have, like, my mindset is black. Like, I'm not voting for any politician who's afraid to get up there and say, I'm gonna do specifically for black people. I'm gonna do for black people. I'm not talking about people of color and the Rainbow Coalition. I'm talking about black folks. And this person told me, This person told me, well, don't you think that's racist? And I just look, I was just froze. I'm like, that's racist? Because I said that I want to do for my people the same way they say they want to do for their people. If they're up there in front of the Latino Chamber of Commerce or the LGBTQ organization or Hispanic or Asian, this and that, they're not bringing black people into the equation. They're saying, hey, we want to do for this and that or that. When a black person gets up there, it's automatic that you go ahead and you have to cater for everybody. So I was told by somebody in my family that was racist. That was a racist mindset. That hey, I'm like, how is that racist? How am I saying that I want to do for my people? How is that racist towards anybody? So I just really sometimes I don't especially older black people. I really don't understand the mindset, but it is what it is. Like I say, we're gonna go ahead and shortly start, and I might lead off if nobody wants to take the.
Hey Todd, real quick, I'm about to switch over to another device. Hold on a second.
Go ahead. If nobody wants to go ahead and speak right now, then I can go ahead and I can read something off of Newstoter about old Joe Biden. So it doesn't really matter. But like I say, tonight we're allowing anybody who wants to speak to speak. I mean, and you're allowed to go around as many times as you like. If you got something to say, I don't know. By a show of hands in here, how many people voted for Joe Biden? I don't know how many people actually voted for Joe. You voted for Joe, clap. Okay. DJ, you say you voted for Joe? Okay. Can everybody, is the reception fine here? Can everybody hear? Okay. Just want to make sure that the reception, that everybody can hear and everybody, they can listen, okay? And we're going to go ahead and start, trying to get this thing popping a little bit. Start off with conversation. We're going to start talking about Joe Biden. And this article is from Newstoter. It was curated. It says, Biden torch for reminiscing about the old days of having lunch with real segregationists in the Senate. President Biden raised eyebrows during his trip to Ohio when he reminisced about his time in the Senate, when he broke bread with real segregationists. Biden visited the United Performance Medals faculty in Hamilton and was accompanied by Ohio Senators, Democrat Sherrod Brown and outgoing Republican Rod Portman. You know, things have kind of changed since I first got there. I got elected there when I was 29 years old to the United States Senate from a very modest background, and I was there for 36 years before becoming vice president, Biden said Friday. We always used to fight like hell, even back in the old days. We had real segregationists like Eastland and Thurman, all those guys, but we ended up eating lunch together. Things have changed. We got to bring it back. The president told Portman he was sorry that Lawmaker was leaving the Senate because he was one of the good guys because of the way he treats his peers. Critics blasted Biden for boasting about his past ties with pro-segregation lawmakers. Segregationists were famously chill about who they got to eat lunch with together. National Review senior writer Dan McLaughlin said, nothing like a hot lunch with a segregationist, political commentator Dave Rubin tweeted. Of course you ate lunch together. You were allowed to sit at their counter. National Journalism Center Program Director Beckett Adams pointed out, brunch with bigots, am I right? The Lafayette Company President Ellen Carmichael exclaimed. For one, Biden admitted just casually sharing meals with real segregationists. Second, real segregationists seem to be implied admission that when he says stuff today like Jim Crow .20, he knows it's not real, said editor Gerald Beer wrote, Joe Biden, like ultra MAGA, is so extreme, and I just long for the days of when I could eat lunch with segregationists Abigail Monroe, press secretary for Senator Josh Haley, Missouri, swipe at the president. Biden's own vice president, Kamala Harris, famously went after him for singing the praises of former segregationist colleagues in the Senate during a fiery exchange in the 2019 Democratic primary debate. The president's latest comments follow ones he made during a Cinco de Mayo celebration at the White House on Thursday, where he kicked off his remarks by telling a story recalling prejudice towards Irish people. He also went on a strange tangent about Spanish-speaking students in American schools. The remarks come as Politico reported that the White House staff have largely avoided press events in the Oval Office because it lacked permanently equipped teleprompter. Biden aides prefer the fake White House stage built in the old executive office building next door for events, sacrificing some of the power of the historic backdrop in favor of otherwise sterile room that was outfitted with an easily read teleprompter screen, the report noted. So this old dude is so senile that he got to have everything set up from the teleprompter and everything else, so his ass can get up there and actually not be made to be a complete fool. Like, this dude is like the millennial version of damn Mr. Magoo, just shuffling along and bumping into the wall, and he's the president. I see Ray Smith wants to talk, so I'm going to let him go on and speak on it. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Ray. I'm going to mute mine.
What's going on, family? Someone spoke earlier about their family members, just constantly voting Democrat and you just not being able to change their mind. You have to just let them go. Some of those people are just too far gone. You can't change their mind. They've been doing the same thing for so long. You're never going to change their mind. We have to start focusing on the younger people that don't understand what's been going on. They're our future. I was looking at Malcolm X quotes the other day, and I saw a quote that said something about anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promises that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're a traitor to your race. That's basically what it's saying in a nutshell, and that's really what's been going on. Because if you really just look at factual history, the Democrats have just done some of the most horrible things to us. I mean, if you look, who killed Lincoln? It was a Democrat. Who killed JFK? It was a Democrat. Who killed MLK? Democrat. Who lynched blacks? Who was the one that owned slaves? Who was the one that created Jim Crow, segregation, created the KKK, created the Japanese internment camps, the Confederacy? I mean, I can just keep naming things for hours probably if I wanted to. Family, it's time for us to wake up, and that's all I wanted to say.
I'm definitely in agreement with you on that. I mean, the Democrats were some of the biggest slave owners, and they were some of the biggest segregationists in the world. Only thing I will say is that a lot of times that people say that the Democrats, but it's not like they had the Republicans tied up in the basement and that the Republicans just couldn't do anything. The Republicans didn't want to do anything as well. So I have them just as complicit in the treatment of black people as I do the Democrats. I mean, to me, they're both the same, except one has a donkey and the other one has an elephant. But there's no difference between either one of these political parties. They have both just destroyed the black community at free will. DJ, I see you got your hand up. You want to say something? Go ahead.
It was just the delay of my glitch real quick, but I ain't vote for no Jim Crow Joe. Fuck that nigga. Know what I'm saying? People ready.
Yeah, I saw you with your hand up, so I didn't know. Go ahead, Ray.
No, I just wanted to say I agree with everything you say. And we can really show them in this upcoming election. We as black people, let's just be honest, the black votes will not matter until we learn to withhold them. People only value what they have to work for. And let's just be honest, no one has had to ever work to get the black vote. We give it out for free. We're basically like the sluts of politics. And even whores get compensated.
Oh, I definitely agree. At first it was like this. We were, like you said, we were Republicans because Lincoln freed the slaves. So we were Republicans all the way up until probably FDR. And FDR came into power, and then from FDR, really, and you still had a good amount of black people that was voting Republican, but probably more of them was still towards the Democrat Party. And then once you had Kennedy and Johnson came on the scene, for the past 60 years, we have just been definitely all out Democrats. Now, Joe Biden, everybody knows about it. Joe Biden is one of the authors of the crime bill, the 94 crime bill, but Judge Joe Brown was also saying that he also helped usher in, I believe it was the 86 or the 84 crime bill as well. So Joe Biden has been part of some pretty negative legislation that has got passed affecting black people in this country. Joe Biden also was a stone segregationist. And, of course, he looked up to the likes of Storm Thurmond and Byrd and some of these other peckernecks that was in the Democratic Party. So he's made snide remarks about black people. Of course, we as black people, did we go out and punish him for it when he was talking about you're not black if you don't vote for him? No, we went out there and we voted for him like the same clip. We always vote for Democrats. Maybe we didn't vote for him as much as we did Barack Obama. But Joe Biden, I mean, he was talking about the reparation talk, and he was saying that, hey, if you get reparation, it's always with us. If you get reparations, then he'd have to look at it for Native Americans. Now, not one piece of bill in this country has ever got passed that benefited Native Americans that they say, well, we're going to let y'all, it's going to also benefit black people. So I don't know exactly where this talk comes from, because not one bill that's ever going to benefit Asians, Native Americans, LGBTQ, Hispanics, Latinos, immigrants, at no time they ever say, well, we're doing this for you guys, but, there's black people that's been in this country longer than you, and there's black people that contributed more than you, and there's black people who's done more than you, and there's black people who's built this country and fought in every war that this country's had and died, and their blood is on the ground and this and that. So it would only be fair if we include them also into this bill. And you don't hear these other groups saying, well, hey, if you're going to do this, you didn't hear Asians saying, hey, y'all go ahead and you sign the anti-Asian hate bill, which that's my point I'm talking about there, Ray. When you had talking about we're going to sign the anti-Asian hate bill, every person in Congress, be it a damn Democrat or a senator, got aboard. Be it a white senator or the Black Caucus, they all got aboard. Nobody had an issue or a problem signing that damn Asian hate bill. They got beat up for, and I'm not making this light, they got beat up for a few months as compared to people who's been getting their ass whooped since the time they got here. And not one person said, not one Asian came out and said, well, hey, yeah, we catching hell here lately, but there's another group that's been catching hell here a lot longer than us. It would be fair if we're going to make an anti-Asian bill that we include black people in it. Since, when the civil rights movement came to part, we benefited from that. We benefited from the suffering and the treatment that black people had endured. And we, to this day, and now you got Asians sitting up here talking about the affirmative action and this and that. Of course, they've been put up to it by a lot of these white conservatives, but they're trying to get rid of affirmative action in some of these Ivy League schools because they talk about it discriminates against them. It's unfair. They make the best grades. They're being punished and this and that. But this whole coalition that we chime in for, nobody talks about. Joe Biden has signed all kind of crap since he's been damn president. Now, the black people who won South Carolina under Jim Clyburn in South Carolina, they pulled in South Carolina, they pulled in Atlanta, Georgia, a red state for him. And where was the exception for saying, well, thank you guys for getting me in there? He totally ignored his voting base. Totally ignored them. Has not done one tangible except for Juneteenth and getting a black woman into the Supreme Court. That's going to be his whole thing when he runs for re-election. He's going, well, I signed the Juneteenth bill and I got Ketanji Brown Jackson as a Supreme Court first black woman in history. I got Corinne Pierre up here. All this garbage that don't mean a damn hill of beans when it's all said and done. That's what him and his party are gonna hang their hat on. Meanwhile, you make less money than anybody in this country. You get killed more than anybody in this country. The maternal mortality rate for black women is the worst for anybody in this country. None of that. See, that they already have this secret agreement, them and the Republicans, this gentleman handshake that, hey, y'all, we know you Republicans, we know y'all ain't gonna do nothing for them. And we'll sit up here and we'll play good cop, bad cop. We'll tell them that, hey, we're trying hard as we can, but those pesky Republicans, they we just can't do it. What are these say when he bring up the fact that, man, you got all three branches. You got House, you got the Senate, you got the presidency, and yet nothing is shaking. Nothing is moving. Not one thing. Not one thing is popping for black people in this country. There's nothing to say. Now you're going to give Ukraine $33 billion. Before it's all said and done, they're going to give Ukraine $1 trillion. Watch and see. Because I already talked about how much damage Ukraine suffered, and Ukraine this and Ukraine that. Between the Western world, and in Western world, I'm including the U.S. and Western Europe, Ukraine is getting a lot of damn relief, a lot of aid, a lot of financing. They're getting military help as well, too. Yet, in Jackson, Mississippi, right here in America, you got a group of black people in a predominantly black town that's catching hell. They can't even drink the water there. Another Flint. All it takes is that $33 billion. You think this dude could at least say, hey, we're gonna give y'all $33 billion, but in fact, we're gonna take $2 billion of that and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fix the water infrastructure there in Jackson, Mississippi, a town, by the way, that's 82% black. No, he's not gonna do that. He's not gonna say that. Because you know the people in Mississippi, them good old boys, they not gonna offer to do it. You got people with kids that can't even take a bath, and they gotta bathe in damn bottled water. You gotta drive 30 minutes away to get water, on top of paying your damn water bill. Nothing at all. No tangibles. This dude's been talking so much noise about black people, talking about black men and how black men were predators and this and that and all kind of stuff, and how you didn't want your kids going to school with them, and black men, it's okay to wear a condom and all kind of ridiculous stuff. And you got black people still voting left and right for this man. I hear older black people especially always say, well, you don't think somebody can change? I'm like, why did he change? Because you want to keep voting Democrat? Is that why he changed? Is that the simple reason why he changed? Did he change or did you change? And the only reason they want to admit that they voted for the wrong party. And like I say, I don't support either party. I support Marcel and I support Tamara simply for the fact that their agenda. If they were Republican, I would support them. If they were independent, I would support them. But I think we're beyond the point of supporting parties. We have to support the person. Ray, you go ahead and take it.
No, I was going to say I definitely agree with a lot of what you're saying. Like I said, I spoke to Brother Marcel the other day. His reparations agenda is rock solid. Love it, love it, love it. I just do not agree, and I'm not trying to get off subject with what he was saying about the Second Amendment, because on his website, like I said, if you're saying, hey, if you guys elect me, we're going to need mandatory background checks for all gun sales. So I asked him, I was like, well, how do you plan on enforcing that? You have to have some type of national registry. And he never really answered it, but I kind of left it alone. I could tell he was, he had been talking for a while anyway and just wanted to move on. And as far as the elders, Judge Joe Brown, that's actually he's my cousin. So we need to get him involved to get some of his knowledge. Because like I said, obviously he's been in the game for a long time. He knows a lot more than I do. And let me get back on topic. The Democrats. Brother Marcel made a very interesting tweet, and I just wanted to read it. He said the Democrats had full control from 1961 to 1969, from 1977 to 1981, from 1993 to 1995, and from 2009 to 2013. They've had ample amount of opportunity to do reparations. They have failed us, just as the Republicans. But black Americans vote 90% for the Democrats, so they owe us. And I agree with what he's saying, because if we're going to throw all our support behind you guys, and you guys don't ever have anything for us, why should we continue to support you?
Oh, I agree 100% with that. And getting back to Judge Joe Brown, it's ironic that you brought him up. I didn't know he was your cousin, because I actually invited him to be one of the speakers tonight, and Judge said he was in Memphis at a barbecue and he was going to be there this Sunday. He said if he had a chance, he would try. So I'm definitely going to be trying to get him to come in some of these Twitter spaces, because I love the way he puts things how blunt he is, and just how real he is and whatnot. So he's definitely one interview that I gotta try to have. I gotta try to have him on the panel, and just reading reports and letting him just respond is just in itself is just something that's just hilarious. I love like the show he's on with the real Dana, and it's just on YouTube, and it just cracks me up. So definitely that, and you're right. The Democrats, and I didn't know that. And Marcel, like I said, he is a very sharp and astute guy. The fact that he was able to pinpoint all of this time, and let's even leave the reparations out of it. From all of those times, from the '60s to the '70s to the '90s, that they did have full control. What tangibles did they do? What resources did they do? See, that's the one thing about us is that when somebody does something for, because I hear people saying, well, Obama had the Affordable Care Act, and I'm like, okay, and that was strictly for black people, or was that for everybody? When something benefits everybody that a Democrat does, you hear black people, they're the main one that champion it. Black people are the first person.
Exactly. I mean, the only thing I've seen that anyone can talk about is those crack pipes.
Yeah, and that was them insulting as hell. Now, I mean, you could be trying to put some funding in there and some real drug rehab and stuff that, well, people, if you just, because basically, you can't really make somebody go into drug rehab. They have to almost be a complete danger to themselves. And a lot of people are dangerous to themselves, but because they're not out there hurting other people, that they're hurting themselves and killing themselves and neglecting their family or kids and this and that. You can't force people to go in there. But the fact that this dude sitting up here talking about goddamn crack pipes, like that's some kind of like big thing or whatever. I mean, come on, man. And you one of the main people was trying to lock people up for damn rock cocaine back in the damn '90s and whatnot. One of the main ones that was, when it came time to sentencing people, the sentencing was much harder for having possession of crack than cocaine. And you're the main one that went ahead and sent up these states into the prison complex system that we got today in this country. And you can sit up there and you can talk about how many black preachers went along with it, and how many of the black congressmen and the black caucus and all the other stuff went along with it. But that's why we don't have any faith in these people, because these people are career politicians who are there strictly for themselves, strictly to enrich themselves, and they could care less about their constituents. They don't care how poor the area is. As long as they're getting their 6 or 7 figures a year, they have a cushy job that they have most of the time for life, because nobody in those districts or those states can beat them. So there's really no real opponent out there that can really. Jim Clyburn's had a free reign for 30-some years in damn South Carolina. And Maxine Waters is 83 years old. 83, and she's still in damn Congress. Like, we definitely need to be looking at term limits, because without the term limits, we're making these people almost like damn kings for life and queens for life, and they have no incentive to get better because they know they're going to be there, and that is just ridiculous. How can somebody 83 years old, and not just point out, because Storm Thurmond, this redneck, the one Joe Biden, his adoptive daddy, the one that he loved so much, the one that had the black love child, and she was up here cutting the food talking about, well, if my daddy and mama had met in a different era, they would have probably been married. No, sweetie, your daddy was a peckerneck. Your daddy used to get up there, get ginned up, say all kind of anti-black crap in the South, and get black people lynched, saying stupid stuff. Your daddy was a peckerneck, and your mom just was somebody to roll in the hay with. I'm sorry that he was your daddy, but that's the truth of the matter. She was like 60, 70 years old herself. Oh, my daddy and mom, if they had met in a different time, they would have been. No, they wouldn't have been. Your mom was a plaything for him. That's all she was. Your daddy had career ambitions of being a politician, and your black mama didn't fit into that. And that's nothing new in the South. There are a lot of black women, even after damn slavery ended, was saying white men. That's a story that people don't really talk about. But it wasn't, after slavery ended, you had a lot of black women that was used to getting a certain kind of treatment from some of these white dudes, and they were still seeing them to live that life, to get more than the other people were. So no, her daddy and Joe Biden, he loved this man. He revered this man. He looked up to this man. He loved this man. And he also has the same ideologies of this man. I don't give a damn if people think because you have to be from Mississippi to be a redneck or be a good old boy. Joe Biden is right from what state is Joe Biden from again? Damn, I forgot what state. He's from the Midwest or whatever, but he's still.
I believe Joe Biden is from Delaware.
Is it Delaware or Pennsylvania?
Yeah, he's from Delaware. That's where Greg Blackstay is talking about.
Let me go back. I'm sorry, I was raising my hand. Let me go back.
No, you good looking. How you doing, Mama? But Joe Biden is from Delaware, born and raised, and that's what Greg from Black State is talking about. We need to just go and congregate down in Delaware. Everybody go move to Delaware. Get your stuff together. Let's move back to the Southeast Coast. Let's take over Joe Biden hood since he ain't doing nothing for us.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and chime in.
I'm sorry. I was just waiting for everybody to speak. My name's Latajia Copeland Tyrants. I have a little bit of experience working with. I have started an organization in 2019, the National African American Families Preservation Association, NAFTA for short, to establish protective legislation for Black families exclusively. Regarding mostly child welfare, but I do sometimes focus a little bit on criminal justice. But since there's so much attention paid to that, and mind you, it's important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't have that, but the child welfare CPS stuff has been completely, overshadowed, and so I just have spent many years doing that. Personally lobbying elected officials. I'm from Ohio. I live in Detroit. My organization is based in Detroit. But I live in Ohio. I'm from Ohio, and I experienced a lot of racism. I think the most racism in Ohio, even though I spent a lot of time down south in Georgia specifically. So, yes, I have personally lobbied Democratic politicians, even my own. My congressperson is Rashida Tlaib, part of the squad, and they have been extremely lethargic in getting back to me, even though I'm also a writer and a journalist, and I'm not playing about this legislation for my people, and it's been very, very difficult. They might return my phone calls, but as far as actually doing anything or meeting with me face to face, they don't want to do that. I have gotten into arguments with some Democratic elected officials because I get on Twitter. If anybody that follows me on Twitter knows, I don't give a damn. I get in their asses all the time, to the point where I got quite a few conservatives following me. I'm not too proud of that fact, but I think when you're in their asses the way I do, you get a lot of conservatives, whether they be white or black, because I got both, and even some conservative politicians that follow me. They think that I'm, going to be some kind of tool or something like that. No, I'm no Candace Owens by any means. I just am tired of the Democrats and their bullshit, and a lot of the child welfare legislation, specifically ASFA, which is the Adoptions and Safe Families Act of 1997, was signed into law by the Democrats, introduced and signed into law by the Democrats, because, the Clintons, who I cannot stand them. I troll their asses too. The welfare reform and all these things, including the 94 crime bill. When you look at a lot of this really destructive legislation, it was promoted by the Democrats, signed into law, or introduced by the Democrats and signed into law by the Democrats. And so I have become more like, because I haven't voted. I didn't vote for the last, put it this way, I think, presidential election that I voted for or in was in 2008, and I voted for Obama, and I was in my early 20s. But I was smart enough, and this is before I got into the political activism and the writing and all the stuff that I do now. After that first 4 years in 2012, I didn't vote for anybody. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for Hillary or whoever was running against him. I think it was John McCain. I didn't vote for any of them. And the same thing went for Trump, and the same thing went for Biden. I don't vote for anyone because neither one of them had a black agenda. So I just sit it out. I really don't be that, because I am kind of like just like an independent at this point. I really don't have an allegiance to anybody. I'm for whoever is going to provide that legislation for my people, and unfortunately, neither has done that. So that's where I'm at with that.
No problem. How do you feel about? I know you just gave us a little rundown about Joe Biden. I mean, about the Democrats itself and whatnot. But how do you feel about Joe Biden? With the title, is he still a segregationist?
Oh, he definitely is. Oh, that's not that I didn't even. Yes, he is. Yeah, just because he's hugged up with a bunch of, and I think when you were saying you were giving the rundown for Strom Thurmond and his biracial daughter, the terminology I guess would be bed wenching. Basically, she's the product of a bed wench, and there's a lot of bed wenching, a lot of bed, but the same thing, where you got a lot of swirling and a lot of that weird interracial stuff going on. So I actually read something about her not too long ago. It's quite sad. It's sad. She couldn't help who her parents were, but it's quite sad that she would be thinking that way. But no, there's no doubt in my mind that he's still segregationist. Yeah. So no, I will never be voting for him or anybody for that matter if they're not going to have a black agenda. Period.
Alrighty, DJ, and then Ray. I see Ray. You got your hands. DJ, go ahead.
No, let Ray go ahead. I'm working the message boards, Connor. Go ahead, Ray.
Appreciate it, fam. I was just gonna say real quick, it's just a game that they play, and we as black people just need to recognize it. Cause I get on arguments all the time on social media, especially Facebook, and it's always the same thing. Oh, well, they just got in the office 24 hours ago. Why can't y'all just wait and see what's gonna happen? And then some time goes on. Oh, it's only been 2 years since they've been in office. Can't you be patient? And then some more time goes on. It's been 4 years. You got to give him another shot to help us. And then 8 years go by, and then the only thing you hear is, well, he wasn't the president of only black people. That's all I wanted to say, family.
My God, did I ever get tired of hearing that? He's not just the president of black people. He's everybody's president. And I asked him when they say that, I was like, well, name me one white president, name me one white senator, name me one white mayor, one white governor, one white congressman, one white congresswoman, name me one county commissioner that's white that haven't done stuff for white people. And everybody just freeze up. Name me, because if they don't do something for white people, they ain't gonna be in office no time. So the whole thing that whole argument, well, he's not. Any white person who's ever held office has done things for white people and their white constituents. And if they don't do things for white people and their white constituents that vote them in, they will no longer be employed. The only people they play that guilt trip with, nobody said that Obama had to do strictly anything for black people, but he didn't do anything. He didn't do one signature thing for black people at all. He tried to distance himself from black people in terms of he would go to black events and stuff, and when he got around black people, his whole dialect would change as compared to when he was talking to white people. When he got around black people, he started giving us this Baptist type voice. And even though, man, you never been to a damn Baptist church until you became a grown man, he started giving us this little play on emotions and stuff like that. That's the thing that a lot of these people do, is that whenever they come around a black person like Bill Clinton, they start playing instruments and they start dancing and doing the Dougie and all this other crap. You won't see them go to a Mexican event and put on a damn sombrero, or go around Asian people and start making fun of their culture, this and that. But when they around black people, it's always that they have to put on these airs and these fronts, and they got to do all this other stuff. They got to be extra, get your booty to the poles, and all this other stuff that makes no sense. And DJ, I see you got your hand up. What's up?
No, I'm just agreeing with you. Go ahead if you still wanted to finish that. I'll talk though.
No, go ahead and chime in.
No, I'm just agreeing with everybody's saying. So it's like, regardless if we voted for this guy or not, what's the solution? Because my argument is now I feel like he need to go on some impeachment type level because he hurting everybody, you know what I mean? And nobody's really, from at least the Democrat side, willing to say anything as far as the majority goes, not us specifically, but as far as the majority goes, it seems like nobody wants to say anything because, I don't know, you might feel like you feel bad or something, you know what I mean? But he hurting a lot of people, black or white, you know what I'm saying? I see that straight up. He got to go, man. I don't think we could survive another 2 or 3 years with this dude in office. Anybody, Republican, Democrat, and nobody saying anything. So it's like it's a game to these politicians, man. So, you got to look at the GOP too. It seems like they in on it too. It seems like it's everybody got our interests at the worst case scenario and not at heart. And we've been here the longest. We see these people giving money to everybody else except for us. So it's like, what's the solution on that,
Well, that's the thing too. I think that this man's mental faculties aren't the greatest in the world, and I think the Democrats, they do their best to try to hide him as much as possible, as much as you can hide the president of the United States. Because I mean, Joe Biden, one thing about him and Trump, they're both prone to say anything. So who knows how much coaching you have to do behind the scenes not to get this dude to just say something that's going to be so inflammatory that it's just going to offend everybody. So he's not in that aspect. He's sharper than Trump because he's been a career politician, whereas Trump is just somebody that was in the business and he was used to barking out orders to people and more a celebrity and that kind of thing. Whereas the other one, he has had to at least put up the appearance of actually caring about people and this and that. So, but he's always been to the point where he would just say anything that came into his head too. And I mean, like I say, one thing about us is we're not going to hold people accountable. And that's something that Marcel said the other night when in the interview, that it's up to us, and especially us as black people and a lot of older black people, anybody that's really 55 and up, if you start talking about politics with them, it's like black people are the most helpless group of people in the world. Well, what are you going to do? Like, if you don't vote for these people, then the other people, even worse, what are you going to do? Like, they don't believe in flexing any kind of power. We're supposed to be like the most powerless thing on earth. And the fact that how in the world could you actually see Joe Biden through all these years and actually still have any faith in this man? I mean, he just was a career politician, and that finally they awarded him the presidency. Go ahead, Ray, and chime in.
No, I was just going to say the problem is they just don't care. A lot of these older people, they just want to get their Social Security and whatever little checks they got coming in. They don't care because they're not going to be here another 40, 50 years to have to deal with the policies that they're supporting. And that's the problem, in my opinion, that I think, that's the major thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they pretty much feel like, well, hey, I've lived my life, and it's up to the next generation. I put in my fight, and they don't care about their kids, the grandkids, the great-grandkids, the future generations that come that's going to have to clean up this huge mess that's left behind. They feel like, well, hey, I've lived more years than I got left, so I'm just going to go ahead. And most of them, too, came from an era where being accepted by white people was the biggest thing. The fact that we're able to socially integrate and go to school and shop and have government jobs, like that was the biggest thing that a lot of them were so proud of. Like, I see. Truth, do you want to say anything?
Yes, I've always been curious about why there is only those two parties and why haven't black people formed their own party or like an independent type thing. What does it take to form those kind of alliances?
Okay, Ray, I see you got your hand back up. Truth, go ahead and mic your mic real quick, and then so Ray can speak, so we don't have any back noise and whatnot. I'm a mic.
Okay, so like mute it.
Yeah, you can mute, and after Ray talks, and you can go ahead and unmute it, and if you want to add something else to it.
Okay.
Just real quick, everybody, you get a chance, share the live. If anybody's trying to request to turn on the mic and getting text, turn on the microphone on the bottom left hand if you're on the app. Turn on the microphone on the bottom left hand corner if you're on the application. Also, try to share this space. And if anybody got anything to say, you could come up and request. And if you want to shout yourself out, we're going to do that in a minute too. If you got a business or if you're doing something on the side, you got some music or entertainment stuff going on. Go ahead.
I'm good to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody. I was just gonna say. I mean, obviously, we could definitely form together and create our own political party. The problem is we have so many people that's off code. We have so many. We don't know who's coming among us that's going to try to undermine us, and that I think has always been the problem. We've always had snitches. We've always had agents, among us, and I guess the thing is we really can't, really identify them until it's too late. So yes, I would love for us to have our own political party. But the thing is, are you really going to get a lot of these older people to switch away from the Democrats after voting for them for 50, 60 years? No, they're not going to. They just aren't trying to hear that. And that's the problem. You can't change their mind. They aren't trying to hear anything you have to say. They think they know everything because they're older and you're younger.
Well, I'm in my 60s, and I definitely would align with something like that and vote for having a party of our own. I know at one point, towards the end of the election, that Diddy came out and was talking that talk, but it seemed to me that it was kind of a plot type thing with him. I don't even think he was serious about it.
No, Diddy wasn't serious at all. I was watching a brother, I forget his name, but I'll find it for you guys and give it to you. He actually was talking about that in the space. Because right up until the election, he was talking, it was called, I think, My Black Party or Our Black Party. But then he also got online talking about, well, we just got to, vote for whoever's going to, stand with us and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Diddy's always had a very shady history. I wouldn't want to be associated with anything that he's done. It made people he screwed over.
I agree, but I just thought it was real funny how all of a sudden he just disappeared after the election was done. I didn't hear no more about it. The other thing that I find real puzzling, there's this candidate who just got placed on a ballot to run, and he's in jail. And I'm like, how do you get placed on a ballot and you get elected while you're in jail? For murder.
And where is he from?
You remember what his name was?
It's a white guy.
My husband gonna look it up for me. But yeah, I can't remember what his name is either offhand, but I just read it the other day. He sent me the article, and I was like, how does that even happen? But yeah, he was elected into office while he's in jail for murdering his wife, ain't it?
You know what? You say you don't know exactly where he's located at.
Well, he's looking it up right now. But you can go ahead with something else. And once he finds it, I can let you know.
Okay, no problem.
I don't understand how that's done.
Well, getting back to like Diddy and them, like a lot of times they put black celebrities and entertainers up there because they know that they're going to go and they're going to drum up support for the Democratic Party. So they've been playing that for the longest. And that's one thing I think that people are starting to wise up to is that, hey, we don't care if you're a rapper or a singer, this and that. What do you know about politics? Because most of these black people that's up there, that's in entertainment, they're not really calling on any real change, anything like that. I mean, they're trying to be quote unquote political in their entertainment field, but most of them rarely, I mean, if you don't know anything about politics, they never do that with white people. They're not going to ask Madonna any serious questions about politics. They're not going to do that. But they do that with black people because they think that all black people are into is entertainment. And they think that we revere these people as gods. And it's a time that was true. And that is still true to a certain degree because we're in a celebrity-driven society. But I mean, I don't need somebody in rap or R&B or whatever to tell me who I need to vote for. I mean, I can do that for myself, but they do that and they still do it. And they always say, you had Cardi B up here talking about, and Cardi B's not even, truth be told, Cardi B's not really even a black American. And Cardi B's not even, I mean, come on. I mean, did Cardi B even identify as being black when she first came up?
He's Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I know she's Puerto Rican, but a lot of Puerto Ricans don't identify as being black.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, she always seems to come. Will claim blackness when it's something that she does negative. When she got called saying, "Well, I'm black," when things like that come about. Yeah, she black then.
Well, she done blew up now too. She a huge star, so it makes sense to go ahead and claim black. Once you done blew up and you done got paid off of the culture and whatnot, yeah, go ahead and claim it. But I'm saying when she first came out, I remember seeing her. I hate to say it because I used to watch it on Love and Hip Hop, and I don't remember her being no damn like just no sister. Like I'm just kicking the real. And they said, "No, you had damn Maxine Waters, who's supposed to be a serious-minded woman up here." Conversating with Cardi B. Like, come on, man.
The one who took the cake from me was Lil Wayne, Lil Raggedy Behind.
I could at least see Lil Wayne because he was trying to get a pardon from Trump. So I could at least see him kissing up to Trump trying to get that pardon to get out. And Trump did give him a pardon. So I could see that.
I guess. Yeah.
I could see Wayne doing that. Like, hey, I'm gonna work it to my advantage. And hey, but Cardi B and you got Cardi B. I mean, that's just going a little bit too far. DJ, you got your hand up. Truth, go ahead and mute your mic for me real quick, so we don't have the feedback.
Yeah, peace everybody. So who you was talking about, Ray Smith? That's TD Hip Hop. He just did a video. If you check the message boards or the jumbotron out top, it says Diddy abandoned his fake political organization, Our Black Party, as truth be told, things she recently reiterated, after selling out Black America. So, Diddy had the whole vote or die situation. Whoever the strippers was, get your booty to the pole. All these people, we just need to go on and get rid of them. Y'all can't come to the Black Cookout for the rest of the summer. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, Ray.
No, I was gonna thank him. I could not think of that brother's name, TD Hip Hop. If anyone's not subscribed to him, please go subscribe to that brother. He puts out a lot of great content. But I also was gonna say, yeah, I definitely agree, especially with Cardi B. She's very black when it's convenient for her, and that goes for a lot of people. They do that with Kamala Harris. When Kamala Harris does something great, oh my goodness, this is our Asian American president. But as soon as she do something terrible, oh, she's black all of a sudden. And they play that game all the time. They do. I'm just sick of it. I catch it, and when I'm trying to point it out to people, I swear it's almost like people get mad at me because they want to stay ignorant.
Miss Copeland, you go, and then Truth, you go next.
Yes, I definitely agree with Mr. Smith and DJ. I am very, very, first of all, I'm very weary or leery of claiming biracials as black people. I really, especially when they off code, I can't, I just call them what they are, which is biracial. I don't subscribe to the one drop rule any longer as an adult because, let's be honest, FBA, B1, people that descendants from American slaves, all of us have white in us, a significant amount. So by that same rationale, we are white. That doesn't even make sense. So, no, I do not claim biracials at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. I rarely do. But if they have any off-code behavior, I do not claim them as black people. I will I take less offense with them speaking on black issues, some of them, simply because, they are biracial or what have you. They have some black in them. Depending on who and what it is, it's not the exact same of having, a non-black person at all speaking on a black issue. Like, I don't know, Fat Joe and other individuals that are clear, that have no black in them whatsoever. But no, I am very, very leery of claiming biracials as black people. I'm very, very cautious about doing that.
Is Fat Joe Fat Joe not black?
No, he's not. But every time there's something going on, I see TMZ and a bunch of idiots, calling on him to speak on black issues, and I can't remember what it was. I think it's the Will Smith slap thing. They had him, all over TMZ and all these white media networks, entities talking about how it made minorities look bad and all this weird shit, real stuff, weird stuff. Excuse my French. So no, they drag him out of mouth balls all the time to speak on black issues, and I have a fit about it every time on social media. So.
All right. Truth is next, and then Queen B. You can go after her.
The politician that I was talking about, he's out of Indiana, and he just won a Republican primary election from jail, where it says he's currently sitting after being accused of murdering his wife. His name is Andrew Wilhoite.
Okay, yeah, I definitely haven't heard of this dude before. That's crazy. I definitely didn't hear of him. I'm gonna go ahead and let Queen B talk, and then DJ. I see you got your hand up. Anybody after that can raise their hand if they want to go.
Thank you for giving me the stage and giving me the mic. I really like this discussion tonight because I think if one thing we are noticing a pattern of what they do, how the Democrats operate. They know that we can be emotional people, so they play off of those emotions. I'd say they do that a lot with the older generation of black people. They know that they are losing a lot of the young black people, and so you're absolutely right. That's when a celebrity in front of us, and a lot of times we don't really know. We just see a person of color, and they feed us all this people of color, so we think, oh, okay, this person's good, and we.
Hey, Queen B, 1 second. Hey, Miss Copeland, mute your mic because we're hearing some feedback.
I'm muted.
You're muted.
No, hold on.
Now you're muted.
That's Miss Queen B right here.
Yeah,
we're going to be on speaker, Miss Queen, and if you are, try switching to your headset, and if you are on speaker, try talking directly into the speaker without moving it around too much. It creates a wind effect, so it sounds like you're buzzing in and out. Go ahead, Queen. You got it, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and unmute your mic, Queen.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I don't know how much you all heard. I basically was just checking off what you were saying, agreeing with what was previously being said. But I did have a question also because I thought I saw somewhere where Charlemagne, they put him out there a lot in front of the young people to get young people to go out and vote for symbolism and whatnot. I thought I saw somewhere maybe earlier this week where Charlemagne endorsed Marcel's opponent. Is that right? Whoever would be, I think there's a guy, Addison, somebody that's going to be in the primary with Marcel. And I thought I saw that he endorsed this guy. And I'm thinking, we know Charlemagne is not with us. He is an enemy, and we need not follow anything that man has to say. And I'll land my plane.
If he did endorse somebody, I didn't know. I thought it was just pretty much Marcel against Clyburn, but I could be wrong because I don't live in South Carolina. But it wouldn't be shocking if Charlemagne did endorse somebody like that. You have to be honest here. The Democrats, they have a good thing with Jim Clyburn. They're going to pump money into him, and they're going to back him because Jim Clyburn is going to do whatever he's told. Jim Clyburn loves Joe Biden. He thinks Joe Biden is a great man, and Joe Biden, he can depend on him, and he does. Joe Biden loves him because he ain't gonna ask for nothing. He ain't gonna try to get anything. So he's a perfect candidate to have there because he's gonna do what he's told. So if I was them, I'd keep him there too. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm gonna see. I'm sorry. I'm gonna see if I can find that because look there. I think there is somebody who they trying to put up and to run in a primary with Marcel, and I think the name is Addison. I'm going to look it up though to make sure because this would just be a trick of Clyburn, you know what I'm saying, to get all these people to go vote for this guy, to keep Marcel out. And we know that Charlemagne is from South Carolina, so So anyway, I'm going to see what I can find and then I guess give it to somebody to post in the Jumbotron. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Ray, and then Mr. Engaging Black, you next.
Now, I just wanted to ask. I'm just trying to see what type of wave everyone's really on. Are we just, the same thing? Are we just not voting, or some people just going to vote for the Republicans, just out of complete spite? Well, let me say this: despite the Democrats. I mean, because we have, history on our side. And I'm just going to get into a little history. Like, if you look into into history, the Civil Rights Act of 1866, enacted by a Republican, the one of 1871, enacted by a Republican. The Voting Acts right of 1875 had 99% Republican support, 0% Democrat. It literally took them 82 years until the next Civil Rights Act before then the Democratic Party, they blocked every attempt to enact more civil rights legislation. The Civil Rights Act of 57, that was enacted by Eisenhower. The Democrats filibustered it. And even Kennedy voted against the amendment to the bill. In the 60s, it's just completely filled with how much contempt they've had for us. The Civil Rights Act of 64 had 82% Republican support, 63% Democrat support. The Civil Rights Act of 65 had 87% Republican support, 75% Democratic support. Like I said, we have a documented history, and we need to take this information, honestly use that against them. Because it's going to be the same old if we don't step up and say enough is enough. What are y'all going to do for us? Y'all do for the Asians. Y'all do for LGBT. Y'all doing for Ukrainians, and they're not even citizens. What are y'all going to do for us? And maybe if we show them that, hey, you don't own our vote, we will vote for Republicans. We will hold our own vote. Do y'all think that's obviously it's a strategy we're going to go towards?
The only thing I say about that, man, is that when you start here, like black people, man, we're so trained that I think it's a great strategy. I think that, hey, that'd be one of the most shocking things because black people traditionally, we vote at the presidential election. Yeah, we vote at midterms, but we come out at national elections strong. And if you in 2024, if you was to have 20% of the black people or 25% of them just stayed home and didn't cast a vote one way or another, I mean, that was send shockwaves throughout the country. But then, black people don't want to be badmouthed by other black people. They know you're gonna have D.L. Hughley come Monday, get on the radio and tell you how you done let your ancestors down and that how you done let the country down and you gave them the election and all of this and that. So you're gonna have black people get shamed like they did with Ice Cube. If they go and they vote for Republicans, you're gonna get shamed that way too. So I really, to me, I think the biggest shock would be like, hey, this your country and you running and this and that. You go ahead. We're gonna stay home this election. But like I say, you would have your mama, your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your cousin, your neighbor, your church person, everybody will be sitting up there calling you every name. Well, since you ain't vote, you ain't got nothing to say about how things are ran. You should just be quiet and shut up. This ain't none of your business. You sat there and you ain't do nothing. People died for you, had the right for you to vote, and you just sat there with your black self and you ain't even try. And you the reason that you the reason we catching hell in this country. You the reason now. You've been catching hell for 400-500 years, but because you didn't come into a damn one vote, you didn't vote in a 4-year election, you're the reason why everything is bad. So I think it'd be a great strategy. But then, like I say, I know how black people are, and I know how they like to shame. They did it with Ice Cube. Ice Cube was sitting up there talking about trying to get something tangible for black people, and everybody got on there, and they just bitched, and they whined, and they cried, and they complained, and they talking about he needs to sit down. They were so afraid, just like that time when you had that Jeremiah Wright with Obama, and he started bless America, goddamn America, and everybody like, hey man, will you just sit I remember Cat Williams had his stand up. He's like, hey man, will you just sit the F down after the election? Because everybody had high hopes for Obama at that time. Because I voted for the man twice. But like I say, please let 20% of the black people stay home and not vote in 2024. And Republicans win in a landslide. And see how all your black celebrities get on TV. Like I say, D.L. Hughley be there that Monday Now he'll be sitting up there on his radio station and he'll be criticizing and he'll be talking about how you let people down, how people died, got hit with water hoses. People died and people got black. First off, and I'm gonna let you take it over, Mr. Engagement. I'm just going on a little rant here, but I hate hearing that. Okay, I hate hearing people saying that people died for the right to vote. People died in this country that was black before you even had a damn option and a chance to vote. Long before voting was even was on the damn agenda for you, people was dying. But people didn't die for you to vote, for you to sit up here and elect do-nothings every 4 years or every 6 years or whatever it is. People did not sit up there and die for you to go ahead and become the poorest group of people in this damn country. They did not die for that. They did not struggle for that. And people are sitting up here and it's just a game to them. They talk about voting is empowerment. Okay, it's business. Like Black Professor and the Black Authority and them say, you're not just sitting up here to vote, to cast a vote because that's your civic duty. You're casting a damn vote because there's a benefit for you to receive. And if you ain't receiving no damn benefit, what are you voting for? Just as a damn exercise? Come on, man, use some logic here. We got groups that's smaller than us in this country, got more damn power and clout. There's less Asians in here. They don't have the political clout that we have. Yeah, they got more power, they got more money, and they got more respect. Jewish people, it's less Jewish people than black people. LGBTQ, it's less of them. So come on, we're gonna vote, man. Let's vote for some damn black empowerment. Let's not just vote, and let's stop making a mockery of why people died in this country. Okay, people died in this country because they thought their vote was gonna matter, that their vote meant something. They didn't die just to vote. They didn't die just so people who were just coming to this country can be placed over you. I'm going to go ahead and let you take it, Mr. Engagement.
Man, let it breathe for a minute, because that's what needs to really be said about when it comes to our voting. It does get me upset when they keep saying that our ancestors died, because they didn't die just for a vote. They died for a change to put us in a better position in the United States. End of story. I think it's a very short side in how they treat our people, no different from our icons. But that's not what you made me come up here for, but I just definitely want to close out that part, because that's something that does need to be discussed. And we do need to sit down and make sure our generation's not echoing the same sentiments as the ones before. Is Joe Biden still a segregationist? When did he ever stop? He's been on a war against the black community since his whole adult life. And that's when he's not having seizures or mental relapse. He's been targeting our community through policies and through I'm gonna just say through policies. Like it's insane. It's insane that that our people have a short memory span about what this man specifically said about our community, specifically said about having our children in the same educational environment that we pay taxes to, that he feels inclined to separate our children, our black children, from the necessary resources that they need to be successful. So is Joe Biden still a segregationist? My question is, when did he ever stop? Because he's still doing the same things to our community that he did back then to today. So yes, he still is one.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that 100%. Ray, I see you got your hand back up. I'm going to let you chime in.
Thank you. So I just want to definitely add to that. I don't want to get your page dinged, but he was right. Black people have a very short-term memory. Just not that long ago, have people already forgotten how many black people lost their jobs because of a certain inoculation that President Joe Biden was trying to push on us that we didn't want? And then we're going to turn around and vote for him again in 2 years? No. And I wanted to say something else. You brought up a good point. You were talking about how people try to shame you by saying, oh, if you don't vote, you can't complain. I found this excerpt. It's from George Carlin. And I believe it's very accurate. It says, when people complain when people say, oh, well, you didn't vote, you have no reason to complain. Oh, I can complain all I want to. He's like, I, on the other hand, who did not vote, who didn't even leave my house on election day, I am no way responsible for the things that these politicians have done. You, on the other hand, have put them in place knowing that they're incompetent, and you want to try to shame me. No, that's not how that works. And I just want to put that out to the family so everyone, if they do try to shame you, that's something you can say.
Oh yeah, because they definitely gonna try to shame you. Like, there ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about that. They're gonna shame you if you don't vote Democrat. At the last election they had in 2020, I voted for the local stuff in my city, in my area. That's what I voted for, the memorandums. When it came to Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I'm in here in Tallahassee. I put the field in and I put the head coach of FAMU's name. I just put his name in there. I wasn't going to cast a vote for either one of them. I don't support either one, and I don't support Donald Trump, and I don't support damn Joe Biden. And I don't care how many people sit up there and try to, because there is no damn difference. You can say Donald Trump, yeah, Donald Trump back in the 80s, the way he discriminated against black people in his places that they were renting out and stuff like that. Donald Trump ain't got no love for no black people. I know that first and forehand. But damn, Donald Trump has assigned policies that have crushed black people, like this man called Joe Biden here. And you got people that sit up there, you got black people that sit up there and totally ignore this stuff. This man that called black people everything but predators and this and that, and they sit up there and they act like that people just making it up. People, well, and like it's always older black women. I got them in my family talk. Well, you don't think people can change, son? I'm like, why is he changed? Because you want him in office? Because you want to have a Democrat in there? That's why he's changed? I mean, good Lord, like, please. You go ahead and hit it, Mr. Engage.
Yeah, I definitely want to touch on to that aspect of what you're talking about, some of our older black women in society. I go through it all the time with some of my loved ones, trying to explain to them about what is the benefit of voting for Joe Biden and what is the benefit for voting for any Democrat. And they still haven't had a full answer about that. And that shows our political naive and our political immatureness when it comes to getting the things that we need to be successful here in the United States. That's a major issue and a major disconnect that does need to be addressed. Joe Biden's talking all this garbage about civic duty, but the thing is, I don't see him attacking some of the issues to make us better voters, make us more informed voters, stuff to actually be more beneficial in that regard when it comes to civic education. I don't see Joe Biden even tackling that, but yet still he wants to come up with a universal problem. So I just find that our ancestors are not, or our immediate people are not taking things seriously the way that they are. I don't know if it's because they feel that they're not affected by it, but they severely are. And if they don't feel like they are, you can always point to the crime bill.
Here's the thing about a lot of older black people. In the 1960s, with the civil rights movement and everything going on, black people at that time, they cast their lot with the Democrats, for better or worse. And they're not going to sit up here now. A lot of these same black people that have been voting Democrat for 50 years, they're not going to sit up here and say that, hey, maybe we made a mistake here. Maybe this wasn't the smartest thing in the world, just going 90% in and voting for somebody. Because when you do that, we have no leverage anymore in the voting process. Because Republicans say, well, I don't need them. We don't put Republicans in office. We put Democrats in office. I was having a conversation online on Twitter one time with these black people, and I know they was black, I couldn't see their face, but they was up here saying that, well, why are you holding Democrats? We was talking about Jim Clyburn. They're like, I don't see you going after Tim Scott like that. I don't see y'all talking about the white people like that. Why you want? I'm like, well, wait, hold on. Black people didn't put Tim Scott in the office. Black people don't put Republicans in the office for the most part. We don't. I mean, when you look at most of these black Republicans that put in the office, most of them are put in there by white people. There are some cases where that might not be the case, but we put Democrats in office, and we've been putting them in office for 50 some odd years. And so why would we not hold Democrats to a higher, to a higher degree of something than we would say a Republican? Because Republicans, They know they don't need our vote. They know they're not going to get our vote. And you had more black men probably in the last election that voted for Donald Trump, which I say I'm not a Trump fan at all, and I wasn't going to vote for him. But you had some black men that were pissed off, and they did go vote for Donald Trump. Like I say, so you have with the black Democrats, the baby boomers, let's call it what it is, the baby boomers. A lot of the baby boomers feel like, well, hey, we cast our lot with them, and by casting our lot with them, every BS policy that they want to go ahead and put in there, we have to go ahead and accept. Stuff that 50 years ago, 40 years ago, that they would have told us that, hey, y'all got to vote for this, or no, we would have said no. But as time has gone by, we accepted this liberal doctrine that everything that they come up with that we have to go with. And if we don't, we the black people, the ones who have the least amount of power in this country, we're the bigots. We're the racists. So we went ahead and we cast our lot with these people for better or worse, and the black baby boomers are not going to sit up here and say, well, hey, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should have went ahead and tried to, leverage my vote like generations before did, before like FDR came on the scene. When they had a look, you didn't have much power, but the baby boomers really had the power to really change some stuff here in this country, and they kind of dropped the ball to a certain degree. I know they like to blame it on the next generation and say, well, y'all did this, you didn't live up to the legacy, this and that. But no, you kind of dropped the ball in some of these areas right here. And now you got the Democratic Party knows that they know that they're in trouble for a certain degree, because baby boomers are getting old, and you got baby boomers leaving. And the next, you got Generation X, and then you got the millennials, and so they're doing their best to try to see how they can cultivate this next group of voters. And it's not like the black baby boomers were diehard Democrats straight down. They weren't changing for nothing. That's who they was with. They feel like it was Lyndon Johnson and John F. Kennedy that got the civil rights movement passage going, and I'll be damned. Even Martin Luther King was a damn Republican, from what I was told. So, baby boomers are not finna let go of the Democratic Party, and the Democrats are scared. And the Democrats do not want to see this next group of voters coming up. You already got, you got Latinos, an article on Newstoter, you got Latinos, and you got black voters that's pissed with Biden. Black voters are the Democratic base. They're the most dependable voting bloc in this entire country. Nobody has a voting bloc. White women come and go. White men come and go. Asians come and go. Latinos come and go. All of these immigrants, they come over here that they're gonna try to go ahead. These Ukraine people from Ukraine, that they're gonna sit up here and they're gonna try to make them into citizens and stuff like that, just so they can displace black people. Once they get over here, they're gonna leave the Democrats, and half of them gonna be Republicans. The only people that don't split the vote are black people, and they know this. I'll go ahead and I'm gonna let DJ, you go ahead and talk.
Hey, no, I don't want to talk. I'm just working the boards on the technical aspect. So, what you call it? Truth be told, I'm not sure if you're trying to request to come up, man. But you might have to approve a title because it might be some type of technical issues. And everybody just check everything that's going on in the jumbotron that I'm posting up in the message boards. There's a lot of information there. Pretty much summary of everything we're talking about. From Obama, disrespected Reverend Jeremiah Wright, everything Jim Crow Joe Biden has done to us, and everything else we're talking about. And make sure y'all share this, all right?
Okay. Mr. Engaging, you go, and then Ray, you go next.
Thank you. Just hearing all this stuff that I knew about. Me personally, I hope Joe Biden or Trump. This go around, I felt like that this is a major issue with our community, and we do need to make a solid stand on people that are anti-black.
Hey, hold on, Mr. Engaging. Hey, Tyler, mute your mic, brother.
I'm muted.
No, I can see you not over here. Try it again. And check the request in the board too, Tyler. But go ahead, Mr. Engaging. Sorry, brother.
No, my mic was muted.
It's all up, man. Also, I had what was the seven that was down there who was in the room with this last time? But also, I just wanted to bring back in the fact that when it comes to Joe Biden, and also Trump, I never voted for either one of them. I looked at them that they were a major issue with our community and the stuff that they do and the policies that they push. I'm just more tolerant towards Trump, even though I didn't vote for him because of the immigration policy and his stance on it that was so harsh on it, which I think that is something that should be done in order for our survival here in America. I have no problem with them building a wall per se. I look at it as something that doesn't have to deal with us, and it only benefit us in the long run as American citizens, and also protect our sovereignty, which is a big issue here in the United States. So I have no problem with that, but I don't see myself rushing to the polls voting for anybody with no tangible. My thing is no tangibles, no vote. That's just the chant that I'm going to be coming with to the polls, and I'm still going to cast my ballot. No tangible, no votes. Just plain and simple.
Absolutely. Ray, you next, and then Miss Copeland, you go next.
I appreciate it.
Hold on 1 second again, Ray. Apologies, brother. Hey, truth be told, if you're requesting to come up, I'm not even sure if you even there. You might have just hit the button by mistake. So try to check and see if somebody's requesting, because I'm trying to either approve it or disapprove it. It ain't going through, but I think your mic is on too. So give me a minute, Ray. Let me mute the mic and try to come back again. 1 second.
Mr. Engaging, go ahead and mute your mic too.
Yeah, Tyler, your mic is still on because I can see the waveform. But it don't matter. Go ahead, Ray. It don't matter. Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
Well, I got to get up out of here, family. I just wanted to say thank you to the host for letting me speak. I appreciate you guys. Just wanted to add this in real quick. Get it out of y'all minds. Our ancestors did not die for us just so we could vote. Our ancestors want us to become free. Our ancestors want us to have liberation, emancipation, equality, etc., etc. Our ancestors did not die for us to just simply vote. We're supposed to get something out of our vote. Voting for them at the time, that was just a tactic that they used during their lifetime that they felt was most likely to get them to the desired results. A lot of people confuse the goals with the tactics. So I just wanted to add that. And with that, I'm going to get up out of here, family. United we bargain, but divided we will beg.
Hey, hold on a second, Ray, before you chime off the mic real quick. So what do you think when black folks be like, well, you talk about reparations to your peoples, and you say, hey, look, Joe Biden ain't doing a thing for us, yada, yada, yada. So what do you think when the black people, your peoples be like, hey, well, I don't need nothing from the government anyway. I work all day, that's why I work, yada, yada. I don't need nothing from the government. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the truth is, that's good. We should be working, obviously not depending on the government. But the government's doing stuff for other people and not doing anything for us. And that's the part I don't think that they do see. And that's just very frustrating. Because I forget who said it earlier. If white people they just aren't going to let a politician just ignore them for 4 years, let alone 60, like what we've been going through. And it's just frustrating.
All right, Ray, we appreciate you stopping in and dropping some knowledge with us. And please make sure you join the next Twitter space. It'll be popping off sometime next week. We're going to do a couple news shows. So I appreciate you coming in.
Hey, no problem. I'll say this. Like I said, if y'all are trying to get Judge Joe Brown on, let me know, and I have his number. I don't want to give it out, obviously. I
definitely want to get him on. Not to interrupt you, but I definitely want to get him on.
Yeah, just let me know when it is. I'll send him a message. I don't know, probably a day or two ahead of time. Hopefully, he can get on. He's pretty, busy, but if I send it to him a day or two in advance, he can get it on. Because, like I said, he's B1. He's an older, obviously person, but he's still focused. He's laser focused. His mind is very sharp. He can run circles around me as far as stuff like this goes. So just let me know, brother. Just send me a message.
I would definitely do that, brother. I'll DM you about that. Okay, Mr. Who was it? You, Miss Copeland? You're next, right? I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Hold on 1 second, Miss Copeland. Mr. Engagement, we need you to mute your mic if you can.
My mic is mute on respectfully.
Yeah. See, hey, look, it's okay, Mr. Gage. You see, that's Twitter acting up, man.
Okay.
But again, hold on a minute, Tyler. Truth be told, down in the I don't know if she's requesting to come up. It could
I submitted her. I approved it a couple times. Let me try again, but I didn't.
No, disapproval, because I tried doing it again and have her come up if she tries to come up again. You know what I mean? Because it could be something wrong with it.
I couldn't approve it either.
Right, because you're a co-host of Lataj, you're right. So try knocking her down in the chat and tell her to come back up. You know, if you listen to Truth Be Told, you know, people be pocket dialing, you know?
Okay, so you're saying, well, go ahead and remove her and then have her come back?
Yeah, just to see if there's anything wrong with the settings, correct.
Okay. Truth, can you hear me? If you can hear me, go ahead and give me a heart sign. I'm going to remove you and then have you come back in so where you can speak if that's what you want to do. If not, if you just want to listen, that's fine. But if you want to speak, okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove you now and then you get ready to come back in.
Yeah, I was going to say request her on your end to come in because you're the main controller, Tata, unfortunately, so you got controls over everything. But instead of you requesting to come back in, Truth, just have Tata request you and see if that'll work like that. Because I tried to prove you, Lataj said the same thing, so it's something up with this thing. Yep. All right, I don't know if anybody can hear me. If anybody can hear me, put some hearts in the comments.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now, Tyler.
Okay.
Put some hearts in the comments, y'all, if y'all listening, for the people that's down in the chat. I know it ain't many of us here. I appreciate that, y'all, you know what I mean? Just making sure this thing didn't freeze. If y'all was listening to the Marcel and Tamara interview the day before, now, so you know it froze and it just clicked off on us. That space was fire. If you didn't listen to it or you wasn't here, go back to Newstoter, Tamara Johnson, and Marcel Dixon. It was fire, and Twitter, they got us out there with the issues with the tech issues. So we're trying to work it out. But go ahead, whoever want to speak.
Go ahead, Ms. Copeland.
Yes, I was saying about. Well, I almost forgot what I was going to say, but it was something about Marcel and Miss Tamara. DJ said, we had a wonderful Twitter space. Was it day before yesterday, I think? Was it?
It was Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. And as you know, I brought up child welfare. That is my main thing. And this is an issue that I have had in some spaces where I have held back an endorsement because child welfare is not something that is being promoted, or it's not part of the agenda, the Black agenda. And as I said, I've been doing this since 2016, so I'm not new to politics or lobbying, or even lobbying for actual legislation. I have been very patient about it, but I'm at the point where, like, if Marcel or Miss Tamara, which I have to say Mr. Marcel was a lot more receptive, certainly I could tell he really cared and really didn't know the extent of the problem. We're talking 50% of Black children or Black families are being negatively impacted by child welfare. What I mean by that, I'm talking about CPS, DFACS, whatever they're called in your particular area. And 1 in 10 Black children are being removed from the home. That's a staggering amount of children. This is a staggering amount of families. And this is a problem that I'm seeing people just not bringing up. They're not talking about it. I have reached out to ADOnders, Yvette Cornell. I've been ignored, and so, I've reached out to Tamara. I've reached out to Marcel as well. But again, at least he spoke to me, and I'll always be grateful to him about that. I did send him the information he requested, and I'm waiting on him to respond. Hopefully he does. If he does, then I will endorse him. If he doesn't, I won't. I'm just going to be honest about that. I will support him personally, but as the founder and president of NASPA, I cannot endorse any candidate. It's not enough just to be a reparationist. It has to include this particular legislation, the African American Child Welfare Act, the African American Family Preservation Act, repealing the ASFA Act, which is the Adoptions and Safe Family Act, which allows CPS to come in and remove your children whenever they feel good and damn ready. And it's obviously black children are the ones suffering from this. They come right into the hospital and take your child. They adopt them out to white people, white strangers. It's really bad. The legislation is bad. And mind you, all of this legislation was signed into law and introduced by the Democrats. So that's what I have to say about that. I cannot endorse anybody that's not going to make child welfare reform and or abolition part of their black agenda. So I just wanted to laser focus on the two candidates that are reparationists, and so.
All righty, I see Queen B has her hand. Then Mr. Engaging can go, and DJ, I guess you go. I know you've been just raising your hand. So Queen B and Mr. Engaging, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, I really wanted to address Latagia, because Latagia, I was in that space the other night with Marcel and Tamara, and I heard you talking about the child welfare system. And the very next morning, which was yesterday morning, I caught the tail end where it looked like there was some Indian people. I'm not sure what tribe they were, but they were having a hearing in Congress, or they were talking to them about some children. So I guess had something similar happened to them. Did you mention that?
Yes. The Native Americans have what's called the Indian Child Welfare Act. It was signed into law in 1973, I believe, where it offers them added protections from child welfare or CPS. They cannot easily remove their children. They cannot easily, almost it's impossible to terminate their parental rights. And in the rare instances where CPS can remove a child, they have to place with another tribe member. So these are what I'm expecting and what I've been advocating for since 2016 for black people. So yes, you saw right about the Native Americans. Every time there's some, now mind you, they have a federal law, and that's what the African American Child Welfare Act is. It's going to be a federal law, and then they have state laws. I live in Michigan. They have their own Michigan law. They have their own state laws as well as the federal Indian Child Welfare Law. So what you're seeing is that some states are trying to modify that law, make it easier, because there unfortunately is a lot of real abuse. I'm not talking about what black people go through. That's just racism, okay? We're talking about some, if anybody knows anything about Native Americans, there's a lot of alcoholism. It's a lot of seriously really messed up conditions that some of those children are living in. And because of the federal law and the state laws, it's almost impossible for CPS to actually do anything about it. So you're having some states, and then I think also part of that is that you're having white people or people outside of the tribe trying to adopt Indian children, and because of the legislation in place, it's almost impossible for them to do that. Okay, so that's what you're seeing. Their states are trying to modify that law so that it would make it easier for the states to come in and remove children that quite frankly are really being abused, and adopt them out to non-Indians. So that's what you're seeing.
Okay, and this is what they have not made a move on in terms of our children yet.
Exactly.
They haven't done anything.
Nothing. And I've been doing this for years. I am very, this movement is so small. I know just about everybody. Professor Dorothy Roberts just wrote a book, or had a book come out called Torn Apart. She also has one that came out in the 90s called Shattered Bonds, where she goes into detail about the white supremacy and how it negatively, the white supremacist roots of CPS and the legislation specifically that allows them to continue to target black families and permanently destroy our families. And this is, I call it there's mass incarceration, but then there's mass removal. So I have been a black children, and I've experienced it personally. I have seen it. I have parents come to me all the time, and I donate my time to them. I do not charge anything. But it's draining, and I deal with burnout because it's like it's just me and a couple of other people in the country doing this kind of work. And so when I reach out to politicians or candidates and they ignore me, it really pisses me off. Like, okay, we need to make this, yes, police brutality and reparations. Now, mind you, I'm always for reparations. I wrote an article about that, but I also wrote it from the perspective of adding child welfare to the conversation, adding that to the black agenda. And I have come across so much resistance and just flat out ignoring me. And, so I'm not one of those people that just are complaining.
Are you there?
While we're waiting for her to come back, just one more reason why, why we need to do something. We can't continue on this path as black people. Look at the things that they're doing. And it's intentional. Why would you not respond to these type of issues in our community? Alan.
Absolutely. Miss Engaging, we have a new speaker. I'm gonna let her come in real quick, because she just Sierra, and let her chime in real quick, and then you go ahead and take it. Sierra, go ahead and unmute your mic.
One second, Miss Sierra. Hey, Miss Sierra, hold on 1 second real quick. You can keep your mic on, Miss Sierra. But hey, Latasha, drop down and come back up. But clear out all the apps in your phone and hop on the Wi-Fi if you can hear me. I see the hearts going up, so you're still in there. But drop down and come back up. We'll put you in back as a speaker, okay, Mama? Go ahead, Miss Sierra. Go ahead. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's Kiara. I do want to chime in on a couple of things, I guess. I mean, I will answer the question in the room. Is Joe Biden still a segregationist? Absolutely, yes. To the point that Ms. Latasha was making, and I hope that she can get on so she can hear this, but so I've kind of become familiar with this movement as well. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are very familiar with the whole child welfare thing as it relates to black people. But like right in my county, there was a big story that had happened with a former American Idol contestant, Saisha Mercado, and her children that were taken through the state. It kind of made it pretty big. I think Benjamin Crump ended up coming down here to get on the case. But yeah, Saisha Mercado basically it's kind of a similar situation she's talking about. Like they had their baby, one of their babies, and they brought the son into the hospital because they were concerned about some things, and they basically used the hospital visit to basically abduct the son and kick the parents out. And then they had a viral video. They had another baby, and my local sheriff's office basically pulled them over on live and took the newborn baby from the mom on live. So it's very real, like what Mr. Kauji is bringing to the forefront. And I think especially in where I am in Florida, I definitely would want to support your efforts in trying to get that kind of legislation, especially here where we're supposed to be a state where we have parental rights, and they want to expand parents being able to have rights over their child's health care and things like that to not to kind of decrease the risk of these kind of things happening. But of course that doesn't always trickle down to our community. But I think that as we start to or continue to do those like delineation efforts and specifying our community specifically, I think we can kind of get those similar things in place, like what you said the Indian or Native American communities have in place legislatively. But that's my comment.
Is Ms. Ortega still available yet, or I will let her go first?
Whoever wants to speak can come up and just go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I think she may be having some technical issues. So we're gonna go ahead and let you close it out, and then we'll just we'll meet back up probably Monday, and it'll probably be a news night. We'll run down. It'll either be Monday or Tuesday. We're gonna do us a news night. So you go ahead and you close it out, and then we're gonna end the Twitter space.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about what got you to respond for me to come back here when I was talking about a long distance plan, because I noticed that everybody have a domestic plan. We don't have an international plan in which we want to implement a B1 or a Freedman or a foundational Black American agenda abroad, and how would that look like? We need to start thinking like that, respectfully, especially when it comes to intelligence and gathering intelligence so we can protect ourselves from foreign domestic enemies. Being on these Twitter spaces, I do hear other countries and other people from other nations that have a deep issue with us. I think it will behoove us to start investigating, sending people over there who are us to find out what's going on, gathering intel. But that's just me. I'm more proactive than being responsive on some of those things. So I'm glad that I'm having that conversation with some of our Black politicians to help them open up their eyes and understand that these international community goes full circle. We got the Azov community, or what they call those Black, or not Black, those Nazi-looking guys that's in Ukraine, who got their own military force. Imagine if we were out there scouting on them and reporting on them and giving it back to our Black Congress people, saying, slapping this on their desk, saying, hey, we want sanctions on this community because of their anti-Black behavior. We want sanctions on these guys because these are Nazis here. It's different if it's coming from us, per se, versus the white establishment powers like the FBI, the CIA, and all those other ones. So that was just one of the things that I wanted to bring up as a group so that we can address that in the future, actually have an international plan. Because it's just...
Yeah, I got it, Tyler. So the answer to that, Mr. Engaging Black, we can't even vote for these Black politicians that are already in office right now. If everybody can hear me, put a heart in the comment. You can't vote for any of these Black politicians that's running, because the ones that are trying to, that aren't even politicians, but are seeing the same issues we're seeing and obviously going through the same things we're going through, they don't understand the language either. That Joe Biden is a segregationist. The Democratic Party has not had the Black people's best interests at heart since post-Civil War. You feel what I'm saying? We can't vote for no Cory Booker, Cory Bush, Kamala Harris, whoever's down, the other lady in Georgia, not Tamara, but the other lady. You know what I'm talking about. We can't vote for none of these people.
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams, right. We can't vote for none of these people for the simple fact they got a boule mindset. And when you, you try to call these people, try to call their offices, you try to talk to them. Hey, look, like LaTasia Copeland saying, hey, look, the child endangerment of Black children is a real thing. So just to piggyback off what LaTasia is saying, if you got a driver's license, don't put organ donor on your license. Will your organs to your family when you leave this world. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how a lot of the CCP, China, they the number one organ harvesters in the world. So when you think about all these rich people that got money, probably dying, kids probably dying from all these sicknesses, we the healthy ones, even though we eat all the BS all the time. The slop from the pig feet, you know what I mean? But it seems to make us stronger like it's some type of sun, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we can't vote for none of these people. I definitely agree. I believe it was Miss Queen Bee that said we need to have our own thing as far as our own party. But it seems like Black people collectively are just either one or two things. Either we want to be around whiteness and don't want to give it up as far as the integration thing, because we have been integrated as far as we go to the same restaurants, sports venues, yada-da, but we're segregated in our communities because of white flight. White folks don't want to be around us. Why is it that we, as Black folk, always trying to be around them? You see what I'm saying? And I think that is the real issue within the Black community. We want to access this American dream of whiteness. It's almost like even it's a jealousy on our part. And we've been American just as long as they have. But they have segregated us, bro. They have ostracized us, redlined us, and to nothing, bottom class, yo. That's what we are. So if we are going to start putting our own people in to do these things, and I'm with that military stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. But I never been in the army, but I do doomsday prepping. I be in the woods camping, so I understand some things. You know what I mean? And I can fight or whatever the case be. So I ain't scared to go to war with nobody. You know what I mean? So the argument is we need to start vetting and start not only vetting but start what you call it teaching the youth, because this really is about them. It's all about the kids. What's going on with this politics. We need to start teaching our black kids politics as soon as they hit like 9th grade, and have them all the way woke by the time they hit the 6th grade, but ready for politics by the time they become a freshman. Start doing things and start getting back into these schools with the trades again. Start having things like ROTC classes, the junior political debates we used to have. That was what black people was doing, constantly debating. That's how the rap came up, you know what I mean? That's how hip-hop came into place. We were spitting at each other. You feel what I'm saying? Bars, knowledge, you know what I mean? Look up the Lost Poison. You know, our history is so well written, but you got everybody else trying to erase us, man. So in order for us to achieve, we got to start from ground zero and build up, because nobody got our best interests at heart. So you always got to wake up with the Dr. Henry Clark mentality. We all we got, we ain't got no friends, bro. Oh, yeah.
Hey, wait, can I build on something for 2 seconds about the civic education? Yeah, civic education is very important, and I'm not trying to disrespect you, brother, but wait until after 9th grade is too late, because these people are people that are globalists and people that are around the world. Like, I'm a part of a civic organization. They have children versions of these mirror organizations where their children are involved. That means they're in grade school, getting these perspectives, doing their politics, and we need to target them now. Like, we need to target our grade school students and really start pumping the politics into them respectfully. And ninth grade, they're too long gone. We need to be getting to them around 8, 9 years old. If not, I'll say probably when they start reading and start infusing some of this knowledge into their daily life. Like, for example, I have cards, Black History cards for my nephew. And we read through and point out which one's for. And we need to start off with the basics from there.
Alrighty, everybody. That will conclude our Twitter space for the night. I want to thank everybody for coming out.
Real quick, I just want to say, yeah, Mr. Gageblock, I agree with you. I was just speaking in context terminology as far as, like, we need to train them young. I agree with you 100%, no matter the age. But we don't want to take the youth away from them either, meaning their childhood. Try to let a kid be a kid as much as possible, bro. So I'll agree with that, too, but I yield, though.
Well, once again, I thank everybody for coming out tonight, supporting our Twitter space. We will be back next week. We will be back either Monday or Tuesday, giving you guys a news rundown, and we are going to try to get Judge Joe Brown on here. Can't make any promises, say it's going to be next week, but I would definitely, the judge actually, I had talked to him, or by Twitter, I should say, talked to him about coming on tonight, but he was doing something, a barbecue thing in Memphis, so hopefully we can get Judge Joe Brown on, and that would be like entertaining as hell if the judge come on. So I'll keep you guys all posted, and once again, I thank you guys for all coming out and supporting. And if you're not following Newstoter, go ahead and please follow. And also, I just started my YouTube channel back up. I did my first video today, so if you're on YouTube and you come across Newstoter, go ahead and subscribe to it. I have a video. I'm going to probably retweet that tonight of talking about the stop and frisk. It was just a quick video I did today, maybe about 9-10 minutes long. So if you guys get a chance, then I retweet it. Go ahead and follow that link, and please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And I thank you guys again for supporting Black content and Black news. And I'll be up with you guys next week sometime. So have a good one and have a good weekend as well. And thank you guys again for supporting the Twitter space.
Peace, everybody. Enjoy the weekend.